Hey, stop scrolling, please. I'm gonna tell you right now that this is not a euphemism. Have you ever wondered why the word testify? You know, like I'll be there at 3 o'clock to take a test. Well, no, you haven't. But today you're gonna learn all about it. Now, the word testify means to give evidence as a witness in a legal case. And the word test and testify means a formal examination or trial. And both of these definitions are related to one another because when you go to court to testify, you have to pass a test. The judge overseeing the case will ensure that you're telling the truth. They'll ask you questions to see if your testimony holds up. That is, after all, the point of taking a test. So the Latin root of testi and testify is testimonium, which means a token or a sign. In other words, when you testify, you're giving a sign or a token to show that what you're saying is true. And that makes perfect sense because if someone's going to swear to tell the truth in court, they need to prove to the court that they're credible. The judge needs to know that the person isn't just making things up. But where does testimonium come from? It comes from testes, which is the plural of testes, and you know what a testicle is, right? Yep. It's that thing that hangs outside a male's body that produces sperm. And you might be asking yourself, why do testicles have anything to do with giving a sign or a token? And I'm glad you asked because here's where this gets really interesting. You see, back in the days of old, Romans would swear an oath by touching their testicles. If a person swore an oath, they would raise their hand and say, "By the gods, I swear I am telling the truth." But instead of raising their hand, they would grab their balls. In fact, the Latin phrase was by the left testicle, which was more common because most men are left. By doing this, they were showing the gods that if they weren't telling the truth, their punishment would be swift and painful. So they were swearing to tell the truth by grabbing their sack. And then eventually they started to shorten the phrase too, just by the testicles, and then later by test. And because this was such a solemn oath, the word test took on a new meaning. It came to mean something sacred, something important, something serious. Hence the word testimonium. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty nuts. Like, imagine going to court and having to grab your, family jewels to prove that you're telling the truth. Now, thank God we don't do that anymore. But it's still kind of crazy that that was a thing. And it's also pretty insane that a word that has nothing to do with testicles ended up having the word test in it. But hey, that's just how the English language works. Words evolve, meanings change, and sometimes we end up with phrases like passing the Bechdel test, which I talk about in this video right here. And if you want to get even more insights on the English language, like how Shakespeare invented 1,700 words, then you'll love my videos. And if you click the link in the description, you can get early access to my videos ad-free, and often even before they're live. So, if you like nerdy, fun, and sometimes even dirty language stuff, then click that link, try it out for free, and support my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay classy, my friends. Let's have a test now. Subscribe. Bye-bye.